Hello friends, welcome to the lecture series on microgrid. Let us understand the outline of our discussion. We will understand the basic concept of microgrid, need of microgrid, architecture of microgrid, DC microgrid, then modes of operation of microgrid, then environmental aspects behind microgrid, then conventional grid versus microgrid, then issues of interconnection, protection and control of microgrid. Then we will see what is meaning of smart microgrid, then difference between microgrid and smart grid, and cyber controlled smart grid. So this will be the flow of our discussion. So first we will try to learn what is concept of microgrid. Many of us have heard the word grid before, but what is this microgrid? If we combine these two words, micro and grid, it is understandable that it is a smaller portion, or we can say the minimized portion of a grid. So let us see the details of this concept. So it is a small scale power supply network that is designed to provide power for small community. So grid normally provides power for large community, but here we will be able to see that the power will be supplied to a small community, and that power supply network can be considered as a microgrid. It also enables a local power generation for local loads. So this is the main advantage of microgrid. It enables local power generation. So mean to say local power generation, it will have its own capacity to generate electricity, and since it can be on a smaller scale, so it will be easily available for the local loads. It comprises of various small power generating sources that makes it highly flexible and efficient. Flexible in the sense it will not only be dependent on the main grid, that power can also be supplied with the help of local power generation sources. And since it will be flexible, it can also be understood as an efficient grid. It is connected to both the local generating units and the utility grid, thus preventing power outages. So it is not only connected to local generating unit, but it will also be connected to utility grid, which is our conventional grid, for preventing the power outages. It also provides us the feasibility of excess power which can be sold to utility grid, and excess power can be generated with the help of these local generating units. Size of the microgrid may range from housing estate to municipal regions. So friends, if you will see a housing estate, or it can be also considered as one apartment having a minimum of, let's say, 9 to 10 homes in a building. So it can start with the range of housing estate, and it will increase up to a range of municipal region, so that can cover certain colonies of the particular village, and that can be considered as a microgrid. Then we will see what are the different components of microgrid. So we have, first is nothing but distributed generation. So generation will not be a concentrated, it will be a distributed generation, which will comprise of a utility also, and also it will comprise of the local power generation. Then it will surely have loads, then immediate storage system. So whatever the extra energy being generated by our microgrid, that can be stored in a immediate storage system. Then there will be a controller. That controller can be based on the various technologies we are going to see further, and that will be used for controlling the electricity flow inside that. Then point of common coupling. It is also considered as PCC. In the upcoming diagrams, it will be mentioned with the small word or short form PCC, that is point of common coupling, which will be generally used to connect the utility and the microgrid. So these are the basic components of microgrid. very important. And whenever we draw architecture, so these components can be understood very typically. So typical microgrid is shown here. So this is a microgrid. Now here friends, we can easily see what are the components we have seen in the previous slides. So distributed generation we will see here first. So distributed generation includes the generation with the help of various sources. So here for distributed generation we have our flywheel, we have electric vehicles, we have with the help of solar panels or photovoltaics we can generate electricity here. Then we have compressed air system, we have batteries, we have again photovoltaics, again we have electric vehicles, photovoltaics. So in this way all these points whatever we have discussed now, so this can comprise of basically distributed generation, which is not only dependent on this main utility grid, but power can also be taken from these vehicles, photovoltaics, flywheels, and compressed air system, and batteries can be considered as a storage system that we will see later. Then there is load. Yes, obviously here there are many loads also we can see. So this can be the loading system, just like household appliances and electronics can be the loading systems. Then immediate storage system, which are nothing but compressed air, batteries, etc. Then we have controllers. Yes, so here we have these power electronic devices which will control our complete system for efficient power flow. And then we have point of common coupling. So here we were discussing, that is PCC, point of common coupling, used to connect main utility grid and this particular microgrid. Then we will see what is the need of microgrid. So first need will be microgrid could be an answer to our energy crisis, because it is comprising of distributed generation. The generation can be taken place with the help of local generating units. Then second advantage or need can be considered, transmission losses gets highly reduced here. Why? Because there is no long transmission lines. Since we are generating the power for the local community, lines which are being transmitting the power are very less distance, so it is being reduced. Then microgrid results in substantial savings and cut emissions without major changes to lifestyles. Yes, so we don't have to install anything extra, so it will just have to add something and to the existing grid, and we will be able to do substantial savings by that, and also we will cut the emissions without major changes in the lifestyles. Emissions basically largely focused on the CO2 or the hazardous gases which are being emitted into the atmosphere, which are causing air pollution. So this is the need of smart grid. Third is last point is nothing but provide high quality and reliable energy supply to critical loads. So it will not only provide us the high quality of energy and reliable energy. For critical loads, I can say it as a peak loads. So it will be a great need of our microgrid. Then this is a basic architecture of the microgrid. The previous diagram is the basically architectural type mentioned over here. So it is a grid, common grid. Then it is a point of common coupling. Then here are the storage systems. Then here it is a micro generation control, the block which is called as MC, that is nothing but micro generation control, and there is called as LC, that is nothing but local control. And here you are able to see friends, MGCC, it means that microgrid system central control. So this will be a part considered to be a microgrid, where we have DG sets, where we have, this is also distribution generation set, this is also distribution generation set, and this is a consist of load also obviously. And in this way you will see there are various loads, industrial load, commercial loads, and we have our generation also with the help of various systems. So storage is here, flywheel storage system. So in this way, this is a complete architecture of microgrid.